Então, sexta-feira, sem uma pauta específica, eu fico procurando assim coisas sejam minimamente divertidas, só para trocar uma ideia mesmo e começar um assunto. E tem uma coisa que eu sempre gostei, assim, desde muito novo, eram coisas estranhas e histórias de sei lá, pessoas que tiveram encontros com coisas muito esquisitas, assim, muito tenebrosas. E, e aí eu sempre gostei de ouvir elas. Eu acreditava, assim, de uma certa forma, num passado, mais em algumas coisas, assim, né? Eu procurava acreditar, gostar mais, assim, né? Ter um sentimento mais de, sei lá, acreditar que aquela coisa era de fato real. Mas eu nunca deixei de achar interessante e gostar da coisa, sabe? E aí eu achei esse vídeo aqui e, sei lá, vamos assistir, vamos trocar uma ideia em cima dele juntos. E é isso. De novo, o Joe Rogan. Eu gosto muito das histórias que eles contam lá e, sei lá, vai ser legendado em português mesmo, que se ferre aí e a gente vai comentando.
Crimes dumped out there. I've found dogs from dog fights that were dumped out there. I've found animals that have just been dumped. I've found very intricate and mind-blowing satanic rituals and sacrifices out there.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Eu já vou começar falando uma coisa que muito interessante que eu lembrei, já é uma recomendação. Tem um filme que ele foi lançado, ele foi feito por uma galera bem underground assim, e ele lançou num canal no YouTube há vários anos atrás. É esse filme aqui, ó, The Tunnel. Tem um gato chutando meu microfone aqui. É esse mesmo que saiu no YouTube? Eu acho que é esse mesmo. 2011. Into the Governo. Esse filme aqui, ó, The Tunnel. Esse filme, ele é um dos melhores filmes de terror, suspense que eu já vi assim nos últimos anos. É muito, muito, muito legal. Ele tem uma vibe do Hack, né? Principalmente do primeiro Hack, né? Os outros eu não curto muito, não. Mas compensa muito ver esse filme. Tem ele grátis no YouTube, né? Como ele lançou lá, bem legal. Só agora vou voltar lá.
Oh, yeah. So I was...
Right.
Which I found different stuff before, you know. I'll find maybe where someone was doing some voodoo, some Santeria, sacrificed a chicken, whatever. All that's like kind of normal out there. That's not that crazy.
Voodoo. Aqui a gente encontra isso em qualquer cruzilhada.
But what I found this night was very crazy. Yeah, the police came and investigated it. It made the news. And that's the facility I was hunting. It's actually an abandoned space rocket facility from the Cold War, where they were developing and testing space rockets.
Infelizmente nós não temos isso aqui no Brasil, né? E simplesmente porque a gente não tem capacidade de ter essas empresas, nessas grandes corporações.
I was out there, you know, hunting these snakes, and this facility is you need special access. I was given special access by the state of Florida to remove pythons from out there. And nobody can just go back out there, but people do go out there, as you can see from the graffiti and different stuff like that. Usually to do stuff that they're not supposed to do. There's a lot of crimes committed out there. There've been murders out there, gang initiations, all kind of stuff.
So they have a pentagram that's...
So, yeah, it's a whole thing. So we go out there. The first thing I came across was a big rock pile with a upside down wooden cross on top and a bunch of red spray painted upside down crosses all over. And you could tell the cross, I think, was burnt a little bit. And it wasn't, you know, crazy, super.
Só um pequeno comentário. Esse negócio da cruz virada para baixo é um negócio que eu não entendo, porque esse também é um símbolo cristão muito forte, que é a história, se eu não me engano, que é Pedro, que ele foi crucificado de cabeça para baixo. Então, assim, essa ideia de subversão, na verdade, é muito esquisito. Quem inventou isso, sei lá, é uma coisa meio boba.
Crazy it was like, oh, this is new, you know, this wasn't out here a few days ago. And then I found this little doll, and
Olha o Kojima aí.
as I kind of investigated that doll more, a little red scarlet snake actually came up and wrapped around her neck. And I picked up this, there it is, I picked up the scarlet snake, and which, you know, is kind of weird that there's a live snake, a red snake on this doll. And I've caught a lot of snakes in my life, and that is the only one that was bleeding out of its anus. There was blood coming out of its beehole, which, you know, I don't know why, who knows what. It was a little weird to me. And then the night just kind of gets weirder from there. You see the red lettering. There was a big Latin saying, like 100-foot long pretty much, on the road. I drove over it. We later translated it to turn around, run, hide, he is watching you. Go further into the complex.
Esse negócio de colocar coisas em latim é que nem aquela música que foi feita na década de 90 que... como é que chama? Que ela, tipo assim, ela é toda em latim, mas ela não, na verdade são só fonemas em latim, assim. Na verdade ela não significa bosta nenhuma. Apesar que a música é muito legal. Dorime. Essa daqui, ó. Dorime. Dorime. Cadê? Ameno, colocar só um pedacinho dela.
Dorime, interrimo ad appare dorime. Ameno, latiremo, dorime.
Isso é muito engraçado. Muita gente teve como que ser essa música. Na verdade é há 15 anos. Né? Na verdade foi em 2010. Achei que era na década de 90. Mas talvez esse daqui seja só o vídeo, né? É muito engraçado isso. Aí eu não entendo com esses negócios satânicos, assim, por que tem latim. Tipo assim, o espírito só sabe latim.
And there's these big abandoned buildings. I go into the building, you know, still just python hunting. Like, you know, who knows what these kids are doing out here. I thought it was strange, the Latin, your average kid just messing.
Vamos ver. Python. Como é que ele falou? Mas será que é Python de Python, tipo que nem escreve Python em... Né, do... Ah, sim, Python Hunting. Ele tá, tipo assim, procurando cobra, né, e tal.
Around don't know Latin sayings like that. And then I come to this big room where there's the big pentagram. In the middle of the pentagram there is a three-legged
como é que chama? A sala do CV de tortura.
plastic chair with a blood stain in the bottom of it where you could tell something was killed, sacrificed, whatever. On each wall, there's 3 walls. On each wall, there's upside down crosses, Latin sayings, and all kinds of stuff. As I'm kind of walking into the room, which, you know, I don't want to sound like a psycho or anything, but that doll from earlier grabbed my leg. I don't know if I kicked it, I didn't see it, or what, But that doll from the rock pile somewhere else, I don't know if it was another doll or what. I never seen that other doll. I kick it. It seemed like it grabbed me. It's that same doll from earlier. Same thing with the cross on its forehead, the one eye cocked over, the other eye messed up. And so, you know, it's...
Uma boa, isso é jogo do Kojima, isso não é... Isso não foi isso é um delírio dele. Ele deve ter sonhado, jogou, sei lá, aquela parte lá do Death Stranding que você enfrenta o pai lá. E aí ele ficou com esse negócio na cabeça.
Very, very weird to me. Kind of like scared me.
So
right next...
It wasn't there and then it was there? So
I didn't notice it. I didn't notice
you
it.
didn't carry it over there?
No, I didn't touch it.
So was anybody else with you?
I had two guys with me that didn't even want to get out of the truck when they seen the first thing. They stayed in the truck.
So the same doll that you saw on the rock pile somehow made its way to where you were?
Yep. I don't know if it's a duplicate doll or what, but it's same.
Was there more than one of those dolls?
Only doll I seen. Only doll I seen. I'm not big on the whole supernatural thing, so I'm real doubtful of it.
Só abrindo mais um parêntese aqui. Eu sou um ser que, assim, já teve muitas dessas experiências. Talvez eu conte uma delas hoje.
In the first place. But to me, it was the same doll from earlier. I did not see it until it hit my foot. Right next to that doll, there is a saying on the ground that says, "The omen will follow." Which to me was like the creepiest thing of the whole thing. Was like, you know, that if you interact with any of this spirit's gonna follow you. Ooh. Very strange, right? Very strange. As we go through, there's all kind of different stuff. In one of the rooms, there's a sleeping bag with something inside of it. I don't think it was a body, anything like that. Police went out there, investigated it. I didn't investigate further past that. Something was inside the sleeping bag, and on the walls there was, looked like red spray paint, and it said, she was only 9, we gave her to the devil, like basically talking about sacrificing a child. And then you have this little girl's gown that's nailed to the wall with like a dark red stain on it.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
And what was the investigation? Did you follow up and find out what they found out?
I never heard anything from it. I'm assuming they never found much from it because I never heard anything from it.
Did they know it was human blood that was in the chair?
I don't know.
Or on the...
I don't know. I would like to think it's red spray paint, but I don't know. Who knows what it was?
Yeah.
So, you know, we continue on with our hunt. We end up starting to get out of there. The guys are like, dude, we want to go. We don't like this shit. I'm like, all right, you know, let's pack it up. Let's go. So we start making our way out, and I see flashlights. I mean, there's one road in, one road out. There's a gate at the end of it. You can't drive a vehicle in. And I mean, we're miles out here. You have to drive miles to then walk miles, right? So I see this flashlight bouncing on the side of the road as I'm driving out. And I'm like, who the fuck is this? No, I've never seen anyone out here in my life, ever. Getting closer to him. I have my pistol in my truck. I put my pistol on my lap, you know, just in case. As I'm getting closer, about to kind of pass the guy's like, Mike. It's my name. And he's like, I love your Instagram. I was like,
Hitchhiking after midnight. The stranger who wanted more.
I never talked growing up. I was the kid in the corner, and like girls would form groups and talk about which guy they want to fuck, and I wouldn't even be. They're like, Dave's sitting right there, and they're like, yeah, he's not even on the fucking roster. And I'm like, so I go, wait, is this racist? Yeah, but what has it? How can I turn this around? What it did for me. The Asian superpower is, if you're not seen and you're not heard and we're seen as non-threatening, I can go anywhere. I can go anywhere and people open up to me. I've been to the Congo. I've been to third world countries. I've been to every fucking state in America. I might be the most American person. Like, I've been to every fucking state. I've hitchhiked from the time I was 15 to every fucking state, every country. And I've talked, and because when people see, oh, that guy's Chinese, he's like Jackie Chan, or he's whatever they think, They don't think that I'm going to do anything or say anything or I'm going to, pose any threat. So they just open up and they say the most, I don't know, like when I started hitchhiking, people said, no one's going to pick you up, right? Like 60s, 70s, everyone hitchhiked. And then something weird happened in the 80s where like, you're going to get raped, kidnapped, murdered, But I go, I don't think so. I think if I put my thumb out and ask for help, someone's going to give it to me. And with that, I got to see the world for free. I got to go everywhere. And much like what happened was I would sit shotgun and I'm getting these free rides and two things would happen. Either the driver has a long drive and they want someone to talk to or they want me to talk to them. And something would happen and like I'm in the car right now with a complete stranger. Anything could happen. And the first hour is always small talk. How long you been on the road? What would you do? It's all that kind of stuff. Something switches when they know the ride's I'm about to get out or whatever. I'm never going to see this guy again. So now we've been talking about news, sports, and weather for an hour. Last 10 minutes, I fucked my sister when I was 12.
Whoa.
Everything comes out. So I've heard, think about how many rides. I've hitchhiked.
How old was he? He was 12. How old was his sister?
I don't know. It was 8. I mean, everything. Drugs, incest. I killed somebody. Like murder.
A guy told you?
Murder confessions.
Really?
I've heard the most insane.
Hold one at a time. Murder confession.
I don't know if I should retell it.
You definitely should be.
A guy confessed to me that he was thinking of raping me when I stayed at his house.
Oh, Jesus. You stayed at his house? You didn't just hitchhike, you hitch-housed?
I was in the deep south. It was like I was trying to hitchhike from LA to New York City. I was with my friend Brian. Same thing. No one's gonna.
Não, deixa eu contar um pedaço de uma história aqui. Eu não posso revelar nada da pessoa, mas essa pessoa tava lá numa festa, assim, essas festas universitárias e tal, isso nos Estados Unidos, e tava lá, tudo de boa, tava bebendo com a galera e tal, e aí tava tipo assim, não podia ir pra casa porque tava bêbada e tal, e aí chegou um indiano conhecido lá e tal, te falou, você pode dormir lá no meu quarto e tudo e tal, de boa, né? Assim, falou, cara legal, massa e tal, continuaram conversando à noite e tal. Aí eles foram lá, na hora de dormir lá pro quarto, e aí, tipo assim, a pessoa chegou assim, olhou pro quarto e tal, e olhou assim a cama e tal, assim, o cara tava indo no banheiro e falou assim, e tal, e onde que eu vou dormir? Aí o indiano virou pra ele assim e tal, aí ele tipo assim, como assim, só tem uma cama aqui e tudo e tal. Aí ele falou, não, é aí mesmo. Aí, como assim? Aí o indiano olhou pra ele assim, virou e falou tipo assim, eu estou aqui pra você, tá? Aí tipo assim, a pessoa desesperou e tal, tipo assim, como assim? Que história é essa e tal? E falou e tal. Aí ele foi em direção à porta assim e tal, e o indiano meio que correu atrás assim, não queria deixar sair e tal. Aí ele conseguiu sair, abriu a porta, saiu correndo, deixou um tênis pra trás. O indiano foi correndo atrás e tal, e aí tipo assim, o indiano conseguiu alcançar, mas na hora que ele alcançou, a pessoa virou e deu um golpe nele assim e tal. Aí ele assustou, caiu pra trás assim, e a pessoa conseguiu sair. Não, na verdade o tênis ficou na verdade num brejo perto do lugar que a pessoa não sabia onde é que tava. Saiu correndo do prédio assim, pisou no brejo, conseguiu ligar para um amigo, o amigo foi correndo lá de carro, pegou e conseguiu ir embora. Mas tipo assim, o indiano tava doidinho pra dar uma nele ou ganhar uma dele, né? Esse negócio de estranhos, né? Pessoas assim, quando interagem com, né, esses one time, né? Uma vez, que nem ele tá contando aqui, é um negócio muito bizarro. As pessoas se abrem e contam, né? Fazem as piores coisas.
Pick up two fucking dudes, and John Wayne picks us up, cowboy guy. 10-gallon hat,
Mm-hmm.
Damn, you boys look, hot out there. Get in the car. And he's telling us about shrimp po' boys, and you know, he works on a offshore oil rig, and it's 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, and it's just 2 weeks off right now. So he's like, where are you guys headed? And we're like, we're just trying to get.
Eu acho que o Sérgio Sacani, ele conta de um tempo que ele ficou lá numa dessas negócio de petróleo assim, que é um negócio muito bizarro, muito tenso.
To New York. New York? What you want to go there for? A bunch of queers out there. I don't know. We want to check it out. You guys want to stay at my house tonight? Like, this guy looks like grandpa. Just cowboy boots, cowboy hat, just big gut. Like, he's a dude.
Right.
Yeah, I'm young. I'm 17 or 18 at this time.
Nossa.
We get to his house in fuck. This is what I'm talking about. It's a tiny town in Louisiana. Deep South.
Okay.
Like, we get in his house, Die Hard movie collection, Rambo movie collection, shotguns, and
Lube.
just a dude, just a man's man.
Lube.
And he has and his part-time job is an anesthesiologist.
Part-time anesthesiologist.
Part-time anesthesiologist, and then part-time offshore oil rig.
Como assim?
And I'm, you know, this is summertime, deep south, covered with like.
Isso daí, trabalho com anestesia. É perito. É tipo assim, pelo menos aqui no Brasil, você tem que formar em medicina, você tem que ter toda uma especialização. É uma especialização cara, tanto de formar quanto de, vamos dizer, o trabalho, né? Sei lá, que viagem, tipo assim, o cara mexe com petróleo, mexe com medicina, muito esquisito. Só se for alguma questão animal, né?
Grease and mosquitoes, living outside on the road, hitchhiking. He's like, you guys want to take a shower? I'm like, fuck yeah. I'm the first one in the shower. And then I come out, I got the towel wrapped on. He's like, he made us like a frozen pizza or something. And there's a protest on the television. It's San Fran. This is 1993 or 94. There's a protest of something with gay people in San Francisco, and they're protesting. And he's watching it. He's like, I'm like, what? He's like, I'm queer. You never see me out there protesting. And I'm like, oh shit. And then my friend Brian, who's covered in grease and dirt, he hasn't showered yet. And I'm like, oh shit. And I started getting my clothes on. And you know, it's one thing to be gay, and then it's one thing to be picked up by like a
big gay guy with a cowboy hat takes you to his house.
So and here's the thing. I don't want to discourage people from hitchhiking. This is one weird incident that's happened in like 15 years of hitchhiking. So he's like, hey Brian, it's your turn. Why don't you take a shower? No, I'm okay. I'm all right. You're filthy. Why don't you get in there and take a shower? He's like, no, I'm all right. I'm okay. And I go, oh fuck. What do we do? You know, I do a little powwow in the corner. He's like, he's old. We can take him if he tries anything. We're tired. We were fucking so tired. We're like, he looks like he was like falling asleep on his couch, and he goes, he's gonna go to sleep soon. Let's just fucking stay the night. It's fucking air conditioned in here, and then let's leave first thing in the morning before he wakes up. I'm like, okay, fuck it, let's just do it. All right, boys, I'm gonna turn in. I'm like, yes. So we take the couch, and I go, let's sleep in a formation, and let's take turns. We should have just left. You go, you stay up for an hour, and then wake me up. I'll stay up for an hour. And then we'll leave crack of dawn. You know. I had a pocket knife, so I slept like this. I took the knife and I put the thing like this, and I slept like that, and I stayed up for the first hour, and I see him walking around his room. The lights are on. And I'm like, this guy's not going to sleep. Midnight, 1 a.m. I'm like, what the fuck? Why won't this guy go to sleep?
Putting his masks on.
So I nudge Brian. I go, hey, it's your turn. I'm going to fucking pass out. He's out cold. I'm like, fuck, dude. Fuck, man. I'm too tired. And I go, okay, I'm just going to stay up the whole night. So I'm up. I'm like, guys are closing, bringing back up again, gripping the knife, and then sometime around 5:30 in the morning or something. My eyes are closed, but you know when you feel someone. So he comes out of his room, and he's standing there, and I could see, and then I go, oh shit, and then I grip the knife, and I go, this is it, it's gonna happen right now. And he just leaves. He goes out the door, and I go, oh fuck, like. And then I wake up Brian. I go, Brian, let's get the fuck out of here. He's like, what's going on? He's like, dude, he just left. He's like, okay, I'm gonna take a shower then. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, if he went to the store or something, like he's not gonna
get some duct
Yeah,
tape.
he's not gonna be back for. I'll jump in and jump. I go, dude, let's just go right now. Like he was, I don't know if he was jerking off or what. Like he was. I had my eyes closed, but he was standing right there, and he's like, I'll be quick. So he runs in, takes a fast shower. We get our clothes on, and like just as we're walking out, he's like, hey, he like pulls in. You guys leaving without saying bye? I just went to the market to get some eggs for breakfast. And I'm like, oh fuck, dude. So I'm like, I have the knife in my hand the whole time. I go, like, it's that thing where I'm a people pleaser. You know, like I'll even put my own life at risk to like, this guy went to the store and got eggs for me. You know, like, yeah, sure, we'll have some eggs. So we go in, and the guy starts talking about his wife and how he works on this offshore oil rig with like a younger dude. It's just two guys running this whole oil rig, and the other guy just talks about.
Tipo assim, isso é mó comum lá nos Estados Unidos, porque tipo assim, tem vários pequenos locais de petróleo lá, que seja na água ou seja na terra mesmo, que, vamos dizer assim, eles são microempresas de petróleo, assim, tipo, sei lá, você achou uma fonte de petróleo no seu terreno, você monta uma estrutura lá e, tipo assim, dá uma grana absurda, né? Petróleo é muito caro, mas, tipo, você precisa de uma infraestrutura, de certa forma, pequena. Então é bem comum isso lá.
About how much he hates gay people the whole time, not knowing that
Tipo assim, você vê isso naqueles desenhos, tipo assim, que a pessoa, sei lá, fura uma coisa no quintal, assim, e aí começa a jorrar óleo. É tipo isso.
this guy is.
Wow.
And then he just like all the other times I've been picked up, he starts opening up about how he was married, he has a bunch of children, and then he figured out he was gay, and then he's just like, I could see it. He knows we're on our way out. He's never gonna see us. Let's just fucking let it on. You boys look so cute on the side of the road there last night. And it's like, I was so like, I'm so lonely. I don't get to, you know, you don't know what it's like to be a queer guy in the deep South. And man, when I came out this morning and I saw you guys sleeping together, you guys on the couch, you look so beautiful and perfect. And I'm like, oh my fucking God, dude. And then he says, I thought about just, you know, if you guys wouldn't mind if I just touched you a little bit. And I'm like, what the fuck? And, you know, we once again, I froze. I'm like, oh yeah, cool. Yeah, so and so I said, yeah, we're gonna leave now. So we just fucking booked it. And then all of his neighbors were black. Like he lived like in a black neighborhood, and like the houses are on stilts because of the swampland and whatever. And I don't know if he's done this before, but as we ran out, like I heard like the kids laughing, and they're like, "Oh, Tom, they're trying to do it again," and I'm like, "Oh fuck! Like this isn't the first time." Like,
Of course.
and look,
Probably
man,
drives
this
around
is
looking for hitchhikers.
They came at night.
Any person that you run into in the woods is scary. It's weird. Like if you, I always said that everything in the woods is scarier. Like if you saw a naked baby in the woods, you'd be like, "What's that baby doing here?"
Exactly.
Nuts.
Yeah,
Baby just standing there looking at you. There's something weird about the woods in general, and if
Não, mas tipo assim, bebê em qualquer situação que não seja um bebê é algo que completamente assim, é muito inusitado. Não é à toa que o Kojima tentara com botar esses bebês para fazer susto na gente.
if you were walking through a mall and a man was walking your way, it's just another person. Like, hello, hi. You know, you're at the park, see a guy, normal. But if you're in the middle of nowhere in the woods and you see another person, there's this moment where you're like, what's this guy up to? Who is he? What's he doing? Is he dangerous?
Yeah, and I think that's because we're all raised in an urban environment, more or less nowadays. And so having lots of people around is normal. But to have one person in a pretty remote area. We don't experience that very often anymore.
But there's also no one is going to help you there.
Right.
If you're alone in the woods, there is this weird, like if you're some crazy serial killer guys out there, like, and you're backpacking, you're like, uh-oh. Like, now I'm at the mercy of this person if they're crazy.
I have a chapter in my book where I describe an event that I'm basically been a real private person all my life until this book came out. And once I wrote this book, I had to bring up stories that are very personal to me. And I had an event one night that was terrifying, probably the most terrifying thing that's ever happened in my life. It involved humans. So, yeah, I totally get that. People in places where they shouldn't be. I'll just give you the elevator speech part of it.
Okay.
So I was in my cabin at night, and the dog started growling. I had very big dogs. I always have dogs. And I looked out my window, and it was winter, and it was cold, and I could see a couple of guys out there lurking around. And I was in the middle of nowhere. And then it kind of digressed from there. So I for the first and only time in my life, I pulled a gun on these guys.
Really?
Yeah, I was in danger.
What were they doing out there?
Well, they came to pay me a visit.
They knew who you were?
They called me by name, which was really freaky. So you think somebody in the woods walking around scary? Wait till you see somebody who you don't know who it is and they call you by your first name. That's freaky.
And what did they want?
I didn't find out because I pulled a gun on them.
Wow.
I drove them off. And it was terrifying to me it was not terrifying at the moment because I was absolutely focused, like predator focused, calm. But after they left, I started to shake and kind of after the adrenaline surge happened. They were drunk.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
And so how did they know who you were? Do you know?
I was working up there. I was kind of a novelty, a young blonde woman.
Eu já vou até contar uma dessa. Uma vez eu tipo assim, eu tive uma meia experiência com um desses predadores, assim. Eu tinha o quê? Uns 17 anos, alguma coisa assim, 17, 16 anos. Tava voltando da escola, assim, e tava chovendo, não tinha guarda-chuva. E eu tava no centro da cidade, assim, com muitas pessoas e tal. Tava tranquilo, assim, na chuva ali mesmo, não me importando muito, que era chuviscando. Aí do nada chega alguém assim, bota um guarda-chuva em cima de mim e tal, e vira e fala assim, eu não lembro exatamente qual foi a expressão, mas foi tipo assim, essa coisa bonita não pode ficar na chuva, não. Aí eu olhei assim, era um cara alto, assim, careca e tal. E eu tava indo em direção ao shopping. E tipo assim, eu achei, levei na brincadeira assim e tal. Aí o cara continuou com o negócio em cima de mim assim, mas não encostou em mim nem nada não. Aí ele falou, não, aí eu falei assim, não, tá tranquilo e tal. Só que ele continuou puxando papo e perguntou onde é que eu tava indo. Aí eu, não, tô indo ali no shopping, né? Eu tipo, apontei assim, um lugar seguro, né? Eu já tava indo pra lá mesmo, cheio de pessoa. E aí atravessou a rua comigo, foi me levando até um lugar, puxando e trocando, a maior ideia. E eu fiz que nem o Japinha ali, tipo assim, Japinha né, não sei na verdade qual que é a nacionalidade dele, o asiático ali, que tipo assim, vamos, people pleasing, que nem ele falou, né, vamos, sei lá, não causar demais, sei lá. E aí, aí a gente foi conversando e tal, aí do nada, assim, tipo, pediu meu telefone. Aí eu falei, aí eu fiquei meio assim e tal. Aí eu falei, tem meu e-mail, me manda um e-mail. Aí eu botei o e-mail assim, ele falou, escreve aqui e tal, e me manda essa recomendação e tal. Aí eu falei, meio que escrevi qualquer coisa assim e tal, e entreguei pra ele, aí ele foi embora, assim, com uma cara bem... tipo assim, hoje não deu certo. Tipo assim, ele tava mó alegre na conversa, de repente quando ele vai embora ele fica seco pra caramba, assim, muito bizarro. A expressão mudando, assim. Na verdade agora eu lembrei, teve umas outras ocasiões com esse mesmo tipo de comportamento, assim. Teve uma outra, assim, que foi muito bizarro, mas essa eu acho que não dá pra contar pelo contexto, assim. É nojento. Esse tipo de situação é muito nojento.
I was only about 25, living alone, studying wolves. And at the time, there were other people coming and going, studying wolves. But at that winter, I was alone. I was working behind the customs station right on the Canadian border, and they were hauling logs down out of Canada, bringing in the customs station. They would have to transfer the logs to an American truck, and then the Canadian trucks would go back. And I temporarily took a job as the knot bumper at the log deck landing, which means my job was to run a chainsaw, trim off the branches, trim the length of the log to exactly fit the log bed. Anyway, so I was around. So these loggers knew who I was, and I was, I was cordial enough. But it was two of those guys.
Oh.
Yeah. And I never told the story till I wrote this book. And I just thought it's a part of me that's very personal. It's a part of me that I learned from. It's never happened again. And I had one old logger, old Bob. He saw me on the road the next day. I was pretty shook up. And he stopped. We chatted often.
Se tem uma coisa que é de fato que quando tem esse tipo de situação assim, a gente deve fazer, quando a gente percebe que a pessoa ela tem umas intenções assim, que ela tem uma coisa, você tem que, tipo assim, vai soar meio esquisito o que eu vou falar, mas você tem que olhar no olho dessa pessoa, tipo, mostrar pra ela que você tem a certeza e a noção exata do que ela é. E que, tipo assim, você não pode mostrar nenhum tipo de medo, porque essas pessoas é uma besta mesmo, é um trem que quer te dominar. Então, tipo assim, se você olhar, tipo, com uma firmeza e, tipo assim, mostrar, tipo assim, você é uma desgraça, você é um trem nojento, a pessoa, de certa forma, ela recua. Essas bestas, esses negócios, a pior coisa para elas é ser exposta. Então, tipo assim, se ela vê que você tem a condição de expor ela recua. Ela recua. Assim, tem que ser forte contra essas porcaria. É muito bizarro.
And he says, so I hear you had some visitors last night. And I looked it up because he's up in his log truck. I said, yeah. He says, you don't have to worry. That won't happen again. He's kind of like watching out for me.
So how did he find out that you had visitors?
The Logger Network, the CB radios. I don't know. I didn't tell anybody. But he knew right away.
Yeah, it's humans that you have to be scared of.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no serial killer mountain lions. Right? They just have a purpose in nature.
Yeah. They just kill because they kill because they eat.
Well, that's what their job is.
People are weird.
People are
Your little
creepy.
sign about there being weird. I love that.
Yeah, especially men. Men in the woods are scary.
Creepy men that wanted more.
I dodged
happen.
2 molestation attempts.
Really?
Yeah, 2.
What'd you dodge?
Well, I dodged
deixa eu
one of
pensar
them
aqui.
when...
Deixa eu pensar quantas, né? Teve aquela história, essa que eu contei. Aí tem essa outra que não dá pra contar. Tinha um outro cara também que, tipo assim, não houve a situação, mas o jeito que ele se comportou numa outra situação, se tivesse uma situação propícia, eu acho que ele teria tentado. E depois eu fiquei sabendo que ele era, vamos dizer, com quem que ele era, quem que era da família dele. E tipo assim, eu comecei a perceber uns comportamentos muito de pessoa que era abusada nessa outra pessoa. Eu fiquei tipo assim, nossa, tem treta nessa história aí. Mas eu acho que então, acho que foram só essas 2 histórias mesmo, não tô lembrando de mais nada não.
I probably was like 7 or 8 years old. That was the scare. Well, they were both pretty scary, but that was the scarier one because I was at the library, and I was by myself. You know, I was a latchkey kid. My parents just let me out of the house. You know, at the time was kind of normal. In retrospect, like thinking about it now, like I couldn't imagine letting my 7-year-old just
public
fucking
library.
wander around.
Yes.
Not just that, but walk to the public library. You know, in San Francisco. And this guy, and so I was reading these books they had a section of like, you know, monster books.
Yeah.
And this guy
Monster
came up to me
books.
and he goes, do you like monster books? I go, yeah.
No.
And he goes, oh, I have some monster books in my car. You want to see them? I'm
No.
like, okay. Like, I didn't know any better. I was fucking 8 years old or whatever it was. And as I'm leaving with this guy, the librarian starts screaming, "Joseph, you get away from that man." You know, like, that man just got out of jail. And she yells at him to get out of there, and the guy runs away, and I just started crying, and I was like, whoa. Yeah. So I dodged that bullet. And then another time, when I was 13, we were hanging around this lake in Jamaica Plain. It was this, like, Jamaica Pond was this place we would go.
Lembrei de outro caso. Mas assim, aí não foi comigo não, mas foi muito próximo. Eu devia ter, acho que está na 5ª ou 6ª série, assim. Aí eu tinha uns amigos, acho que era isso mesmo, estavam ali começando, né, vamos dizer assim, descobrir o próprio corpo. A gente ia fazer educação física, enquanto a gente tava lá no futebol, eles tinham essa coisa de ir pro banheiro, uns amigos assim, né? E fazer suas brincadeirinhas, né? Aí, uma vez, eu achava isso aquilo muito esquisito e tal, mas teve uma vez que eles fizeram isso e foi no final, assim, aí quando o professor perguntou onde é que eles estavam, né? Aí falaram, ele tá lá no banheiro lá e tal. E aí o professor foi no banheiro e tal. E aí depois, tipo assim, chamou eles e tal. Aí eles voltaram. Só que depois esses amigos vieram contar pra gente que eles estavam fazendo lá. E que o professor, na hora que ele chegou, ele virou pra eles assim e tal, né? Que eles estavam com o negócio pra fora. E virou assim, vocês querem ver o meu também e tal, e tipo, tirou pra fora assim e tal, mostrou pra eles e tal, e eles ficaram mó, tipo assim, sem entender o que tava acontecendo ali e tal, e foram meio embora assim e tal. E aí eles contaram, eu tava na época, eu ouvi, eu tava junto e tal, aí eu falei, não, a gente tem que contar isso pra coordenação, a gente tem que ir atrás contar dessa coisa bizarra, tipo assim, isso não pode acontecer não. Eu nem sabia exatamente assim a situação, a gente era muito novo, mas eu sabia que a gente tinha que contar pra coordenação. Aí pouco tempo depois ele foi demitido. Professor de educação física sempre tem uma treta.
Fish. And there was another pond that was like this neighboring pond that was like slightly smaller. And this guy was always like running around the lake. He was jogging. And me and my friend Josh would be hanging out. This guy would come over and talk to us. You know, he seemed like a super normal guy. He used to be a teacher and he had retired. And, you know, he probably was like in his 60s. Then one day, it's just me.
He went for it.
One day, it's just me. And I'm fishing. And he comes by and he's drunk.
Damn.
And he tells me he loves me. And I'm like super confused.
How old were you?
13.
Okay.
And I had been talking to this guy on and off. I had seen him, you know, for months.
Yeah.
Like he'd come by, say hi. It was always like casual, very good humored, very friendly, but he was like setting us up. And he comes by, and then I realize after, he tells me he loves me, but there can be no love without sex. That's what he says. And I'm like, what? And I had a knife. So I remember, like, I grabbed my knife in my pocket, and I had my hand on my knife, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to stab this guy.
Damn.
Yeah. I was like, this is going to, because there was no one around. There was no one around.
Wow.
It was just trees and
You were 13,
forest.
you were like,
I was
I'm going to have to
13.
stab.
Oh, I was going to cut.
Não passou o finalzinho ali, não. Esse tipo de situação assim direta não, mas eu já tive que pegar em arma também, já tive que resistir. Nossa, que treta, hein? Vamos ver se tem mais. Eu gostei dessas histórias bizarras. Vamos ver. Vamos ver essas conspirações do Reddit.
These are Reddit's darkest conspiracy theories. Theory number 1.
Será que tem alguma, tipo aquela do Baal lá que eu teorizei e que, pelo visto, tem algum fundamento?
Squid Game shows what really goes on at elite gatherings. According to the theory, the TV show Squid Game is more than just a hit series. It's a peek behind a curtain that we were never meant to see. The idea is that the world's super rich have gotten so bored that they've created a real-life blood sport for their own entertainment, and it looks a lot like the show. They don't just pick players.
Eu não sei se a galera já viu, mas tem um filme. Que é o filme que influenciou todos esses jogos vorazes, essas coisas, que é o filme predileto do Tarantino. É o Battle Royale. Japanese movie. Esse filme é fantástico, é muito legal mesmo, vale muito a pena ver. O Battle Royale. Esses jogos, tudo foi influenciado por conta desse filme aqui. De quando que ele é? Nossa, é tipo assim. E aí essa parada aí dessa coisa de rico me fez lembrar desse filme. Mas ele é de 2000. Nossa, esse filme é muito legal. Tem filmes japoneses que são assim, né? Já recomendei o Akira Kurosawa lá e tudo e tal, mas tem muita coisa legal no cinema japonês, porque muitas vezes ele é um cinema que ele não liga para parecer, vamos dizer assim, uma coisa não natural. Ele não tem em vários momentos o cinema japonês não tem essa necessidade de parecer que, né, transparecer uma outra realidade. Ele não se importa, e vamos dizer assim, e que você reconheça que aquilo é algo dentro de um palco, vamos dizer assim. E aí tem umas formas tanto de filmagem, de fotografia, assim, quanto da própria atuação dos personagens, né, dos atores, que é muito legal. Battle Royale, vale muito a pena ver esse filme.
Off the street. They find people who are truly desperate, the ones who have fallen through the cracks of society. Think of people with crippling debt, gambling addicts who have lost everything, or individuals who have simply vanished. These people are offered a chance at a fortune that could solve all their problems. But this offer of hope is just a way to lure them into the game. The real purpose is to put on a show for an audience of billionaires and world leaders who watch from a safe distance. It's believed these events happen in extremely remote and secret locations, places like private, uncharted islands, or deep underground bunkers built to survive a global apocalypse, all guarded by highly trained mercenaries. The spectators, much like the masked VIPs in the show, watch from luxury suites, placing massive bets on who will survive the next game. They treat human lives like poker chips. But the theory goes deeper than just sick entertainment. These games are also said to be a testing ground, a way for the elite to study human behavior under the most extreme pressure imaginable. They watch...
Só para falar, né, caso alguém que vá ver isso não tenha entendido o começo, é só uma... vamos dizer, ele está descrevendo se aquele, né, aquela série coreana lá dos jogos lá, e que nem esse filme Battle Royale, se na verdade isso não é uma questão, vamos dizer assim, algo que existe de fato e acontece nessas ilhas, nesses lugares fechados, de bilionários e coisa e tal, só pro entretenimento deles, né?
To see who breaks, who cheats, and who will do anything to survive. And what happens to the winner? Some believe they aren't always allowed to just walk away with the cash. The ones who prove to be the most ruthless and capable are sometimes forced to work for the elites as secret agents or assassins. The theory finishes by saying the TV show was intentionally made to hide this reality. Now that the idea is out there as fiction, if anyone ever tried to expose the real thing, they would be laughed at and called a copycat. It's the ultimate way to hide the truth in plain sight. Theory number 2, that they use the Epstein case to bury Pizzagate, and that Pizzagate is and was so much worse than Epstein. This theory claims that the whole Jeffrey Epstein scandal, while truly horrible, was actually a carefully managed smokescreen. Its main purpose was to kill a much bigger and more dangerous story that was gaining traction online, Pizzagate. The idea is that a powerful global network of traffickers saw that online investigators were getting too close to exposing them. So they needed a distraction, and Epstein was the perfect sacrifice. It all started back in 2016 with the hacked emails of John Podesta, who was Hillary Clinton's campaign manager. People reading through the emails online noticed some very strange things. There was weird, repeated talk about pizza, cheese pizza, pasta, and hot dogs in emails that had nothing to do with food. The theory quickly developed that these were code words for horrible things. Pizza was code for a girl, cheese for a little girl, and so on. This trail led investigators to a pizza restaurant in Washington, D.C. called Comet Ping Pong. The owner was well connected in political circles, and the restaurant's social media was filled with bizarre and disturbing images, some featuring children, which just added more fuel to the fire. The theory says that just as Pizzagate was starting to catch on, the Epstein case was blown wide open. This gave the world a villain they could see and hate. It proved that powerful people were involved in child abuse, but it neatly contained the problem to one man and his famous friends. The news media focused entirely on Epstein, his island, and his Lolita Express plane. This gave the public someone to be angry at. At the same time, any mention of Pizzagate was aggressively shut down and labeled as fake news. The theory insists this was planned. By making the Epstein case so real and public, it made Pizzagate look like a silly fantasy. It distracted everyone and made them stop digging. The final act of this cover-up, according to the theory, was Epstein's death in his jail cell. He was the one person who could have named all the other powerful people involved, but he conveniently died before he could ever testify in court. With him gone, the biggest secrets were safe, and the larger network that Pizzagate was trying to expose could continue to operate in the shadows. Theory number 3. There are plans behind the Denver airport. This conspiracy theory says that the Denver International Airport isn't what it seems. While it looks like a normal, massive airport, many believe it's actually a front for a massive secret project. The idea is that deep beneath the runways lies a huge bunker and command center built for a shadowy group, like the New World Order or the Illuminati, to use after the end of the world. The first clue people point to is the airport's incredible size.
Não, o Maduro, supostamente, o bunker dele é no aeroporto, né? Eu acho que essa teoria tem fundamento, hein?
It's twice the size of Manhattan Island, and many question why it needed to be so big. During its construction, there were reports that several large buildings were fully built, and then for some reason, they were declared to be in the wrong spot, so they were just buried and new buildings were built on top of them. The theory suggests this was just a cover story for building a massive underground city. The airport also has a huge network of tunnels that were supposedly for a high-tech baggage system that never worked. Believers say these tunnels were never for luggage at all. They are the passages and roads of this deep underground base, ready to house the world's elite when disaster strikes. Then there's the incredibly creepy art all over the airport. There are giant paintings, or murals, that show terrifying scenes. One features a huge soldier in a gas mask with a sword and a gun, standing over crying women holding dead babies. Another mural shows a city in flames with sleeping children in coffins. It feels less like art and more like a prediction of a horrible future. And standing guard outside the airport is a giant 32-foot-tall blue horse with glowing red eyes. It's so scary that locals call it Blucifer. In a dark twist, the artist who made it was actually killed when a piece of the statue fell on him. The final piece of evidence is a dedication stone inside the airport. It gives credit to a group called the New World Airport Commission, but no one can prove that this group actually exists. The stone also
maçonaria aqui.
has the symbol of the Freemasons on it. a secret society that many believe is trying to create a one-world government. When you add up all these strange things, it paints a picture of an airport that is hiding a very dark secret about the future. Theory number 4. The social credit system is about to be implemented all across the world, and we will lose our freedoms. This theory is a warning that a system of total control, known as a social credit system, is slowly being built all around us. It's not just an idea from science fiction. It's already happening in China. The system gives every citizen a score based on their behavior. If you do things the government likes, your score goes up.
Não, e tipo agora com essa coisa aí da gente estar caminhando para uma perda dos trabalhos e vamos dizer assim, uma mesada, não, é como é que chama, gente? Qual que é a expressão correta para quando você tem um salário mínimo para toda a população, vamos dizer assim, trabalhadora, não, é uma renda fixa, assim, esqueci a expressão, mas deu para vocês entenderem. Vamos dizer assim, se a gente tem uma questão dessa, assim, para você ganhar mais, né, vamos dizer, você tem que, vamos dizer, ganhar pontos com o Estado, né? Eu acho que super isso pode ser implementado.
If you do things they don't like, your score goes down. This score then controls your life. A good score gets you better jobs and loans. A bad score can stop you from buying a plane ticket or even getting into a good school. The theory claims that China is just the first step, a giant experiment for a system that is planned for the entire world. Think about how much data is already being collected on you. Tech companies and governments track what you buy, where you go with your phone, and what you say online. This theory...
Tipo assim, esses negócios de tecnologia pegando, vamos dizer assim, padrões e assim, eu acho que está chegando num ponto que há um tempo atrás eu tinha recomendado um livro para o meu pai e ele deixou do lado da cama dele assim, e só isso, né? A gente não discutiu sobre o livro nem nada, vamos dizer assim, eu falei do livro para ele e tal, mas o fato foi o seguinte, ele colocou esse livro do lado da cama dele e foi dormir assim, mas antes ele colocou o celular com a câmera virada para a capa do livro. Foi isso. No dia, durante a noite, ele acordou e pegou o celular. Quando ele pegou e abriu, sei lá, para entrar no site, uma coisa assim, veio uma propaganda da capa exata do livro. Tipo assim, como se a câmera dele tivesse tirado a foto da capa do livro e estava ali recomendando. Tipo assim, eu fiquei assim, sério isso? Ele falou, sério, isso aconteceu dessa forma, a capa exata, a versão exata, e a gente ficou tipo assim, Então assim, vai saber o que microfone e câmera de celular pega da gente. Isso já deixou de ser teoria, isso já tem várias comprovações. A gente escolhe se submeter a isso ou não, né? Eu tenho, por exemplo, no meu celular, eu tenho por acaso, um negócio que tampa a câmera. É mais para proteção, mas eu acho que acaba funcionando de uma forma positiva. E eu realmente também comecei a usar menos o telefone, deixar ele mais distante. Eu uso, sei lá, o WhatsApp no computador e coisa e tal. E é muito engraçado porque me vem menos coisas, me vem menos propagandas. É muito esquisito. Realmente a gente tem que tomar muito cuidado, ainda mais o telefone que eu uso é um telefone chinês, ele já vem com uma porrada de propaganda.
He says that the push for things like digital IDs, getting rid of cash for digital payments, and putting facial recognition cameras everywhere are all pieces of this puzzle. They are building the tools needed to track and score everyone. Once the system is in place, freedom as we know it would be over. Imagine your score dropping because you shared the wrong political article, or because you associate with someone who has a low score. Suddenly, you might not be able to get a loan, you could lose your job, or even be locked out of your digital bank account. Since everything would be connected, they could cut you off from society with a single click. The scariest part of this theory is that people would start to police themselves. They would be too afraid to speak their minds or question authority because the risk of getting a low score would be too great. It's not a prison with bars, but a digital one where everyone is constantly being watched and judged. The goal isn't safety. The goal is total control over the population. And many who believe this theory think it's not a question of if this will happen, but when. Theory number 5. Flight MH370 got zooped through a portal. The videos are real. One of the biggest mysteries in modern history is what happened to Malaysia Airlines flight MH370. This theory offers an explanation that's out of this world. It suggests the plane didn't crash in the ocean. Instead, it accidentally flew into some kind of portal or wormhole and was transported to another place, another time, or even another dimension entirely. The main reason people believe this is because after years of searching and spending hundreds of millions of dollars, they found almost no wreckage. It's hard for people to believe that a massive Boeing 777 airplane could just completely vanish in today's world of advanced technology. The plane's last known movements were also very strange. It went off course, its communication systems were turned off, and it made sharp turns that don't make sense for a normal flight. The portal theory tries to explain all of this. It says that a rip in space and time might have opened up right in the plane's flight path. This could have been a natural event, or maybe something more sinister, like a secret military weapon being tested, or even alien technology. There are some very controversial videos that drone flash might not, we can't. For some, Lost to Giantness gets uploaded to a clone in a facility where horrid
Toda noite a sua consciência ela sofre upload.
Things happen to you. When you wake up, they have a way to erase the memory of being there. This is one of the most terrifying theories out there. It suggests that sleep is not the peaceful rest you think it is. The theory claims that every night, your consciousness, the part of you that is your thoughts and feelings, is secretly taken from your body. It's then uploaded into a perfect clone of you, which is being held in a hidden high-tech lab. While your real body is asleep in bed, your mind inside this clone is put through horrible experiences. It could be anything from painful medical experiments to intense psychological torture, or being forced to fight in realistic battle simulations. A secret group, maybe part of the government or a shady corporation, is doing this to collect data or to train people without them even knowing it.
Esse filme, pouca gente conhece ele, mas é um filme, ele lançou mais ou menos na mesma época do Matrix 1, se eu não me engano. Nossa, como é que eu vou pesquisar o nome dele? Cidade Alienígena. Como é que é? Cidade Alienígena filme. Vamos ver se é assim. Não, Distrito 9 não. Como é que ele chama? Filme da época de Matrix 1. Vamos ver se a inteligência vai ser Cidade das Sombras. Esse filme aqui. Esse filme, ele é meio, assim, ele é um pouco não é que é forçado. É tipo assim, vamos dizer, ele é um pouco datado algumas coisas dele, mas ele é muito legal. Nossa, vale muito a pena ver esse filme. Ele tem tem uma coisa assim que até lembra Hellraiser, uma coisa assim, tipo assim, ele não é de terror específico, mas ele é muito interessante. Tem umas sacadas assim, Nossa, é uma ficção científica muito diferente, muito única, muito única mesmo. E a gente vê pela arte dele, direção de arte, que ele influenciou muita gente. De jogo, de tudo quanto é coisa. Esse filme é muito legal e muito pouca gente conhece ele. É muito interessante.
Your consciousness experiences all of this pain and fear as if it were real. Then, just before you're supposed to wake up, your consciousness is sent back to your real body. But before you open your eyes, a process is triggered to wipe your memory of everything that just happened. You wake up feeling maybe a little tired or confused, but you just brush it off as a bad night's sleep. The theory says that sometimes the memory wipe isn't perfect. This is what causes extremely vivid and terrifying nightmares, or that feeling of sleep paralysis where you can't move, and you feel like there's something evil in the room with you. Those aren't just dreams, they are fragments of the real trauma your mind went through during the night. And this happens every single night. A secret, torturous life that you live but can never remember. Theory number 7. That billionaires had secret meetings and determined that the Earth is doomed. And so they gather so much wealth to live as lavishly as they can with the remaining resources before potential colonization of other planets becomes viable, if at all. This theory suggests that the richest people in the world have secretly come to a dark conclusion. Using their access to the best scientific data and predictive models, they've figured out that the Earth is past the point of no return. They believe a total collapse of society is coming soon, whether it's from climate change, war, or something else. But instead of using their incredible wealth to try and save the planet, they've decided to do the opposite. They've made a pact to just enjoy the time that's left, living in extreme luxury while secretly preparing their own escape. The plan is to build high-tech lifeboats for themselves and their families, leaving the other 8 billion people on the planet to deal with the chaos. We can already see hints of this happening. Billionaires are buying up huge areas of remote land, like in New Zealand or in the American Midwest, and building massive, self-sufficient underground bunkers. These aren't just vacation homes, they are survival compounds. The billionaire space race is another big part of this theory. It claims that when you see people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos building rockets, it's not just for science or adventure, it's a competition to see who can build the first escape vehicle off-planet. They are trying to get to Mars, or build private space stations, so they have a place to go when Earth becomes unlivable. They know this is a long shot, so in the meantime, they are just focused on living it up. They see the rest of humanity as a problem, using up the resources that they want for themselves. So while we worry about everyday problems, they are quietly building their arks, and they have no intention of saving anyone but themselves. Theory number 8. The food
a teoria da inteligência artificial realmente for para frente, né, dela se tornar quase que uma inteligência real, né, uma autônoma, eles não vão precisar das pessoas, a robótica e a inteligência consegue, né, vamos dizer assim, servir as necessidades.
Consumed in the United States is a huge part of the mental illness going on today. This theory claims that the sharp...
Em uma época eu estava nos Estados Unidos e eu comecei a notar que o pão de lá vinha com um cheiro esquisito, ele vinha com uma como é que eu posso dizer? Ele tinha algo no preparo dele que era muito estranho, muito assim, que eu nunca tinha sentido o cheiro, o gosto. E aí eu comecei a notar que em outros alimentos tinha isso também, e é muito estranho. A comida lá parece que ela tem uma espécie de, vamos chamar de substância maior. Parece que ela vem injetada com alguma coisa, é muito esquisito. Isso daqui eu não duvido mesmo, assim. E aí teve uma vez que um desses pães que eu comprei, o cheiro estava tão forte, que eu não consegui comer. A gente teve que jogar o saco fora. Sei lá, a comida americana é muito bizarra.
Rise in mental health problems like anxiety and depression isn't just a social issue, it's a physical one, caused by the food we eat every day. The focus is on all the chemicals, preservatives, and artificial ingredients that are packed into modern processed foods. The theory suggests these aren't just making us physically unhealthy, they are actively changing our brain chemistry. Things like artificial colors, high fructose corn syrup, processed seed oils, and artificial sweeteners are all pointed to as major culprits. Over time, eating these things is believed to damage our brains, mess with our hormones, and make people more prone to mood swings, anger, and sadness. Processed food is a huge target of this theory. It claims these foods are designed to be addictive. Food companies know that these ingredients make people feel foggy and unwell, but they keep using them because it keeps people hooked on their products, which means more profit. The theory also looks at the chemicals used in farming. Pesticides sprayed on fruits and vegetables don't always wash off completely and can build up in our bodies over the years, affecting our brains and nervous systems. There's also concern about how meat and dairy animals are raised. Many are given growth hormones and antibiotics, and when we eat meat or drink milk from these animals, those substances can end up in our bodies. The theory argues that because so many people in America eat this kind of food every single day, this constant exposure is slowly breaking down our mental health, making society more tired, confused, and unstable. Theory number 9. Flight 93 was shot out of the sky. They knew the other plane was on a suicide mission to hit a target, so they shot it down and told everyone that it was a passenger uprising. The official story of Flight 93 on September 11th is that the passengers on the plane fought back against the hijackers, causing the plane to crash into a field in Pennsylvania. It's a story of incredible heroism, but this theory claims that's not the whole truth. It suggests that the U.S. government made the unthinkable decision to have the plane shot down by a military jet. According to this theory, the government knew the plane was hijacked and was headed straight for a major target in Washington, D.C., like the White House or the Capitol building. They had minutes to make a choice, and they knew they couldn't risk it hitting its target. So they made the call to shoot it down, killing everyone on board to prevent an even bigger disaster. People who believe this point to a few key things. First, the debris from the crash was found scattered over a huge area, some of it miles away from the main crash site. They say this looks more like what happens when a plane explodes in the air, not when it crashes into the ground. There were also people on the ground that day who reported seeing a small, white military-style jet flying very close to Flight 93 right before it crashed. Some even said they heard a loud noise like a missile. So why would the government lie about it? The theory says it's because on a day that was already so full of horror, telling the American people that the government had to kill its own citizens would have been too much to handle. So instead, they focused on the story of the heroic passengers. It gave the country something to feel proud of in a moment of fear and sadness, and it covered up a terrible and controversial decision. Theory number 10. The U.S. government is slowly preparing the public for the truth that aliens are real. They're already here, in our skies, beneath the oceans, and hidden among us. The main reason the government has kept it secret for so long isn't fear or panic, but because revealing it would expose something much deeper about who we really are. This theory claims the U.S. government is slowly preparing us for the biggest announcement in human history, that aliens are real, and they've been here for a very, very long time. The recent videos and reports about UFOs or UAPs aren't leaks. They are part of a controlled plan to slowly introduce the idea to the public so that people don't panic. The theory says these aliens aren't just visitors. They are living here on Earth, hidden in places we can't easily get to, like deep under the oceans or in secret underground bases. But the most shocking part of the theory is why this has been kept secret for so long. It's not just about technology or preventing fear. It's because the full truth would change everything we believe about ourselves, our history, and our religions. The theory goes on to say that these aliens are responsible for creating us. The idea is that thousands of years ago, they came to Earth and manipulated the DNA of early humans, guiding our evolution and turning us into the intelligent beings we are today. In a sense, they are our creators. This connects directly to religion. The theory says that many ancient religious stories are actually just records of early humans interacting with these advanced beings. When ancient people saw these aliens with their incredible technology, flying ships, and powerful abilities, they didn't understand what they were seeing, so they called them gods. This is where the stories of the Greek and Roman gods, and even some stories in the Bible, are said to come from. They weren't myths. They were just descriptions of aliens, written by people who had no other way to explain them. The government knows that revealing this truth would cause every major religion on Earth to collapse overnight and would change our understanding of who and what we are. That's why they are doing it so slowly, drip by drip, to get us used to the idea before they drop the final bombshell. Theory number 11. That the CIA secretly eliminates innocent people, including Americans it's supposed to protect to get what it wants. The people behind it believe these actions are justified and claim they're doing it for the greater good. This theory claims that the CIA operates with a secret, unwritten rule. If someone becomes a threat to a major mission or a national secret, they can be quietly removed, permanently. This includes American citizens. These are not seen as murders by the agents who carry them out. They are seen as necessary actions taken for the greater good of the country. The CIA's official job is to gather information on foreign threats. But this theory argues that they sometimes decide that the biggest threat is one of their own citizens. This could be a journalist who is about to publish a story exposing a secret operation, a whistleblower with proof of illegal activity, or even a political activist who is becoming too influential. The theory says that instead of just arresting them, the CIA sometimes chooses to make them disappear. These deaths are always made to look like an accident, a car crash on a lonely road, a sudden suicide that shocks friends and family, or a heart attack that seems to come out of nowhere. The agency is believed to have access to poisons that are impossible to trace, and ways to cause accidents that leave no evidence of foul play. The idea is that these agents believe they are protecting the country by doing these terrible things that nobody else is willing to do. They see themselves as patriots, making hard choices to keep the nation safe. According to this theory, the CIA is not just a spy agency. It's a hidden force that acts as judge, jury, and executioner, shaping events from the shadows by getting rid of anyone who stands in their way.
Essa daí é a mais plausível de todas. Na verdade, é possível que a gente já tenha, na verdade, comentários, falas sobre isso bem diretas. Bom, a gente passou aí da 1 hora. De novo, hoje foi um reactzinho assim, bem leve, com algumas histórias aí, eu achei bem legal. Lembrando sempre que são lives segundas, quartas e sextas. Segundas e sextas, coisas mais divertidas e ateliê. E na quarta a gente fala sobre um assunto mais sério, teorias sobre a arte e política, estética em geral. Eu vou deixar vocês por agora. Uma boa noite, um bom final de semana. Beijuntas, um abraço. Qualquer coisa, sigam nas redes. Se quiserem comentar, se quiserem falar alguma coisa, sempre mandar no direct aí que a gente responde, a gente troca uma ideia aí. Valeu, até mais. Tchau, tchau.